Welcome back to the podcast today. And I'm just so excited. So, Frank Rekas is somebody that I have followed for a really long time on LinkedIn. And we've, I feel like I would show up on somebody's post and there's Frank. He's already posted, or I'd go somewhere else, I'd post, and Frank's posting right after me. And we've been posting on each other's, content. And I love the stuff that you put out. And it warranted a DM going out saying, "Can you please like just humor me and come on my podcast?" So I'm so excited that Frank's here.
Welcome to your Profitable Law Firm podcast. I'm Kelley Brubaker, your dedicated host, passionate about empowering law firm owners. Let's dive into the hidden strategies that lead to overflowing profits, scaled growth, and thriving lives. This is where overwhelm transforms into confidence, enabling you to create and enjoy your dream firm and your dream life.
Frank, can you give us a background just for people who don't know you yet?
Sure. And thank you, Kelley, for having me on. And yeah, I've been following you too. It's kind of like we've been stalking each other secretly, but I'm glad you reached out, and I've been looking forward to getting together. So I am a financial planner, and I've been in the industry a really long time. And I got into it purely by, I guess I'll say, accident. I got a letter at home from an insurance company. I went on the interview. 3-4 months later, I'm working full time and out of my former retail management position. And I haven't looked back. And over the years, what I've done is I've organically created a niche of working with law firm owners. And I didn't even know it was happening while it was happening. Maybe I was a little oblivious to it, but I was in management for a little while. I got out of management in 2023, and I took a look at my client base to see who is everybody, where are they coming from, what do they do, is there a commonality? And more than 60% of my clients were attorneys or law firm owners and or people who worked in that space. So I said, okay, if I'm going to not necessarily reinvent myself a little bit, but just some marketing and start branding, I'm going to work with law firm owners. And that's where I'm at. And I love doing it. I love meeting them, and I love helping them.
And I have a very similar story where I was frustrated. I opened my accounting firm in 2005, and for the longest time just struggled because I was taking on anybody who walked in my door. If you wanted to work with me, I was your girl. And probably about the same time, like 2022, 23, somewhere around there, I'm complaining to my business coach. I'm so frustrated. I can't pick up clients. It always seems like an almost fit. I just can't. And she's like, time out. You need to niche. And I'm like, no, that would be horrible. I would be not accepting all these clients. And she's like, but niching to an industry or whatever your segment is, it doesn't mean exclusive. So you can still take on clients in other industries or that aren't your ideal client that you're pursuing. And then that made me, I'm like, okay, I'm with you now. I let me try it. And I'm like, okay, but now the next step, what do I do? And she's like, well, look at your client list. I look and I'm like, oh yeah, 80% of my clients are law firms.
Yeah. So there you are.
See, it didn't register to me because over the years, I mean, I've worked with, dog kennel, print shop, retail stores, and I'm horrible with inventory. So, I always gravitated towards professional services. And so I've worked with dentists over the years and IT providers, but it didn't even occur to me that how many of my clients were law firms. And so I kind of fell into it as well. And I love it. I think it's amazing.
And I was like you, I was nervous at first about, oh shoot, if I limit myself to attorneys, even though there's a lot of them, for lack of a better term,
Yes.
I thought like, oh shoot, does that, I thought the same thing. Does that mean I can't work with a CPA? Does that mean I can't work with a guy or gal that owns another type of professional service? No, it doesn't. And actually, I think what people look at is that they say, well, if you and your line of work or me and my line of work, if they can help them, why can't they help me? And it's true, because if it's the right situation and you're the right fit client, yes, it's just that the marketing and specialization is revolved around the law firm owners. But other than
No,
that,
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
can work with other people. Yeah.
No, I agree. But the thing that hit me was it became so much easier for me to create content because I just know I'm talking to lawyers and,
Right.
specifically law firm owners. And so it makes it so much easier because so I've done this podcast for a little over 2 years now. I've had my blog for I don't know how long, much longer than that, and struggled as I started being more active on LinkedIn. I'm like, what do I talk about? And just coming up with, I mean, I have this whole little ideal client and really modeled him after Jake Bergrantz from A Time to Kill, the movie. And God, I love that. I watch so many legal dramas, it's crazy.
Oh,
But
you and me both.
oh, I can imagine. And that's just one of my all-time. I love Matthew McConaughey. And then just the whole movie is just like a riveting. I could watch it forever and ever and never gets old. And so I just sat down one day and drew out, who's my ideal client, and it just ended up being Jake.
Of course.
It becomes easier then when I have somebody I'm thinking about, who am I talking to? Because
Right.
LinkedIn's hard, like, or just creating a post, right? So you
Right.
create a post and it's like, well, who am I talking to? And so I try to make it when I sit down to write, I'm having a conversation with Jake and what would I tell him? And,
Yeah.
what question does he have for me today that I can answer? And it does, I mean, just changing by declaring I have a niche, it made it so much easier to market. I still talk about the same things. It doesn't really matter what
Mhm.
industry you're in, but
Right.
it is so much easier. So I have friends who are like friends who own accounting firms, bookkeeping firms, and they're like, I can't believe you picked lawyers. I'm terrified to work with them. I'm like, oh, please. They're just like you and me.
I used to get the same, and sometimes I still get the same thing from like colleagues in my industry. It's like, why do you work with attorneys? And they ask it in such a way like it's like,
Right.
I don't know, like they're the devil. And I'm like, because I understand what they need. I understand what they want. We have some
Yeah.
similar problems to solve, like paying too much in taxes, right? And trying to minimize that. And we just get along. Well, I don't think I could ever do that. Great. More for me. That's fine.
I say the
That's
same
okay.
thing.
Stay out of my way.
Exactly. I completely agree. It's kind of crazy. So, okay. So, I mean, attorneys, you've got to go to so many years of school, you get your bachelor's, you go to law school. So we definitely are working with people that are highly intelligent, right?
Mhm.
And is there anything that you've encountered when you work with clients that is just so irrational that you're like, I
Might
know
get myself in trouble and never get another law firm client again. And when I say this,
don't name names.
no, I won't.
Yeah.
Not they all, most of them suffer from the same thing,
Okay.
lack of time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's not that they don't have the time. It's just that they're not organized well enough to devote the time to the things that they need to do. And, I kind of jokingly say this, but you'll spend 2 weeks planning your 2-week vacation, but
Yeah.
you won't spend 30 minutes a week or an hour every other week planning your finances. How does that add up? Right? We're talking about, I don't know, a $10,000, $20,000 vacation, but we could be talking about millions of dollars for your financial future. It just doesn't add up. So, and I get it. They're all busy. Everybody's busy. You're
I know.
always going to be busy. It's not going to slow down, because if it slows down, then what? Money's not coming in. You don't want that either. And I'm not asking for a boatload of time. And
Right.
truth be told, the heavy lifting, meaning the gathering of information and details and statements, that happens at the beginning. Once we get that done, then the heavy lifting is on me. You just need to show up, answer some questions, walk through the things that we're going to walk through. We meet on a regular basis, but my goal is to put you on a path to your retirement that you want. If it even is retirement, because sometimes it's not. And
Right.
there's people that want to work until they can't work anymore. That's great. I kind of feel the same way myself. I'm not going anywhere. As long as I've
Right.
been doing this, I want to do it that much longer. But the answer to their biggest question is, am I going to be okay? That's what they want to know. When I
Right.
get to a point where I'm going to slow down, maybe sell the practice, maybe just consult, will I have enough money to live on? And that's where the real method of how we work kind of all comes into its completion.
No, absolutely. And what I love is that both of us are in the financial world and we come at it from slightly different angles because your focus is more on like the owner's personal. I mean, obviously the business activity is a huge chunk of that for our
Sure.
clients.
Yeah.
Whereas I come at it purely from the business angle. I want to make sure that your firm is running, profitably. You have the firm that you dream of.
Right.
I used to say that I would help you grow your firm to, $1 million, 2 million, 10 million, whatever it was. And then I'd had people coming to me saying, I love what you talk about, but I'm happy at $500,000 a year. I have one person that works for me. And I'm like, if that works for you, that's great. So then I started kind of tapering it back a little bit and saying, I just want to help you create your dream firm. And
Yeah.
so, whatever that means, but
Right.
I become limited. I don't do tax work. And so once I get to a point where you're going to ask me a tax question, now I'm dangerous. I have my CPA license. So I know enough about taxes. I just don't keep up on the nuances on every single tax code change
Right.
that changes every day. And then I also, like then the personal and the insurance, it's like, how do I invest the money? I don't know. I just know it's not doing good sitting in your checking account. Because
Yeah. No, definitely
so
not.
that's where I love it's coming up with I try to recommend to people come up with some type of a team, like I've talked about this before about creating a board of directors. And I kind of call it that just because I feel like that's a common people can accept because people in professional service industry typically end up being asked to be on some type of a nonprofit board. Or we may own, a couple shares of Walmart or, Tesla or Ford or something. And you get there's the board of directors. And so it's
Right.
kind of common, like it's accepted what that means. And the idea being you create your own board and each person has their own thing that they're going to come. Now we're not all going to agree. I guarantee that. That's the one thing I can guarantee, right?
No,
Which is
not,
actually
that is not going to happen. Yeah.
because amazing, like you put together a couple people and they each look at things differently because their background's different. We all have the same goal. We want you to make what you want to make, right? We want you, if you want to, have $1 million in your bank account or 10 million or whatever that is, or not work as much, like whatever that is, we all have the same goal for you to support you, but we're going to come from different angles and beautiful things come out of this when that happens. So I love, or, both same goals, but just from different angles. So I think that's great.
Well, and the good thing is that it's the collaboration part.
Yeah.
Right. We all, if you're building this team, CPA, fractional CFO, financial advisor, planner, whatever term you want to give people in my industry, your business attorney to make sure your entity is all set up correctly. You've got your operating agreement, which is a note for that. Your buy-sell agreement, which is a note for that, right? A couple things that often fall by the wayside. Handshake deals, they don't work, even if you're siblings. That's a problem.
Yeah.
But when you have those people together, now you know that this is your team from a financial standpoint and a financial picture, and everybody is doing their role. And yes, we're not always going to agree on certain things, but if we can show the client about, why it is that here's why you should do this, here's why you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I think they're getting the best of all the worlds. And from my standpoint, when I work with a law firm owner, the foot in the door, so to speak, is tax planning. There's not enough tax planning going on. And tax planning
From
is
your
not
lips. Seriously.
It's not giving your CPA, here's all my stuff, including my receipts. Call me when you know what the number is. Because at that point, and no offense to any CPA, please, but they're just reporting history.
Absolutely.
Many of them are not looking forward enough. And that's why you need either a good financial advisor along with that CPA. I'm not a CPA like you. I know some of the rules. I know what pertains to me with what I do. And if I'm ever in a zone where I don't know the answer, I'm not going to try and figure it out. I'm going to get the client's CPA on a call with the client or with me so that I can relay back the information. Because the last thing I want to do is step over a line. And I don't want to work with a CPA who's also going to step over a line. So there's a difference between being aggressive, but there's also, you want to work with someone that's proactive. Don't just tell me I owe $80,000 without giving me any suggestions on how to reduce that.
Yeah.
Put some thought, and let's come up with a plan, a program to figure out how we're going to reduce that number, because no one likes to pay that. And if you knew
Right.
you didn't have to pay it, you're looking back at that CPA like, well, why didn't you tell me?
Right.
Who likes to file an amended return? I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to either. I mean, sometimes it's there, it's an option, and sometimes it needs to be filed. But yeah, I mean, I agree. When I have somebody that complains to me, my tax person, blah, 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 I let them vent, but I'll say, okay, what is your relationship with them? And not necessarily the relationship, but what did you hire them to do? Did you hire them only to prepare your tax return? Then that's what they did. You handed them the information. They prepared the return. They did exactly what you hired them to do. Now, there is a bigger shift within the tax preparer community to start offering tax planning services. I've seen more and more now who are doing tax planning, proactively saying, I do tax planning.
Right. And making recommendations about, here's a deduction you don't want to miss out on. If you did this, you'll get, they are out there. You just gotta find them.
Exactly. And be willing to pay for it. Because then that's the next hurdle is, well, I found somebody and they said they would do tax planning, but it's, 4 times the amount of tax prep and, the cost. And I'm like, yeah, because they're worth their weight in gold. I'm telling you, they will save you more than what they charge you. And it happens. I know I've rarely seen where somebody paid, a lot for tax planning and didn't save that much in that 1 year. But that's not the norm. Normally what I see is tax planners are saving you multiples of what you pay them. So
a great example that I always give is that we've been working with a particular client now for about 8-9 years. And on average, we're saving him anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 a year in taxes, just with one thing that we're doing every single year. So let's go lowball, $400,000 times 10 years, or $40,000 times 10 years. It's $400,000. It's a lot of money.
Absolutely. It's worth it.
Money.
And I'm going to venture it, take a little guess. They're not paying you $400,000 for that, right? You're saving them
that kind of money. No, but you know what? It's the way it goes.
I'm so sorry. Apologies for pouring salt in the wound, but it's just, it just gets frustrating for me. I mean, because you and I are in this position where we're in a unique position where we see like behind the curtain, right? We went to Oz and we see behind the curtain, and, there's just a lot of things we see, and, trying to help people overcome. And some of it's just mindset. Some of it, I mean, I've had clients who are like, I don't need tax planning. I just get to the end of the year and I just buy a whole bunch of stuff the last week of December. I'm like, well, that's not tax planning.
No, that's like,
I do the same eye roll.
Just spending money. Yeah. I'm sorry about that if anybody saw that.
That's not a good tax plan. That's not tax planning.
No. Tax planning, if you can save on taxes and then use some of those savings for actually growing your wealth, that's tax planning, or that's a part of tax planning. But just going out and buying stuff, I mean, are you just going to accumulate stuff because you said you buy it and you didn't need it? You're not using it? Well, that's not very smart, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had a client who, so years ago, before I niched into the law firm industry, I worked with a whole bunch of different industries, and I had someone who was a dog groomer and they owned a dog kennel. And then as a separate business, she owned show dogs. And every year it would get to the last week of December, she'd go buy a new car. And I'm like, what? And she goes, but it's a business asset because I have to transport my show dogs. And so I'm like, okay, don't tell me you want me to take section 179 and deduct the entire car. And it wasn't a car, it was an SUV. So it qualified with a heavy vehicle, full depreciation. And she's like, well, yeah, that's what she whips out this opinion letter from a big four CPA firm. I said, where'd you get that? She goes, that's what the dealer gave me. My car salesman handed me and said, it's a business deduction. Just do it. We can write off the whole thing in 1 year. And right now I had a really good year. And so, here's this vehicle is like 40 or 50,000. And the first year she did it, I'm like, I can't believe I'm having this conversation. But okay. Like if that's what you want, it's completely legit. But I'm telling you ahead of time, this is what I think is going to happen. And I'll be sure the next year she's like, I had another really good year. I'm going to go buy a new car. And I said, well, time out. You appreciated the car. You have no basis. You're going to end up paying. You're going to pay a lot of tax now because you're going to turn in this car that has no value. And so then you're going to have a gain because you're going to have the trade-in value and all, and like trying to work through that without all the, legal or the technical terms. I'm writing on a piece of paper. I'm trying to write it all out.
And bad enough, who wants to negotiate the price of a new car every year? I mean, that's just like forbidden, right? I wouldn't want to do that.
Oh no. So surprise, after I did that like the second year of that, I did the return.
Yeah.
Literally handed her the return and she handed me a letter and I'm like, what's this? She's like, I am firing you.
Oh.
I'm like, thank God.
Oh,
it was the first time a client fired me. And I literally was so relieved. It was the best thing ever.
That's funny. That is funny. That's a good story. You should tell that more often.
Yeah, I have to be careful because she lives by me.
No, I know.
It's a local person.
Yeah,
but locally people don't know this also.
Right.
I feel comfortable.
But then there's go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so, so there's lots of things that we see and, because I feel like a lot of times it's about managing risk because it's the risk. You don't want to overpay your taxes. It's the risk. Right. I know you work in insurance. So, the risk that you don't want to be underinsured or even overinsured. Right.
Right.
So
right.
Like so when we're talking just about risk, what would be something that you would like, what's the first thing you ask about, and I'm coming from, I do. So my clients are all law firms, except I have a couple nonprofits that I work with. Cause and the one, we have a new board member and his whole thing is about insurance because he wants to make sure he thinks we're underinsured and that we don't have the right insurance policies. And he's probably right. I'm not going to lie. He's probably right. But, it gets me thinking and I'm like, oh my gosh, because sometimes we're only thinking about the thing sitting in front of us, not about the thing that's not in the room. So what do you think are risks that we're missing with law firms?
Well, I would hope that their income is protected and they have disability insurance. I think that's one piece right there. Because if you can't work, let's say you're making, and you pick any number you want, $400,000, $500,000 a year, multiply that by 30 years. How much is that? $15 million by the last time I did that. Is that protect? Maybe, maybe not. And if it's not, you're protecting your car, which is not worth $15 million. Your home, probably not worth $15 million. And some people will insure their cell phone. Like, really? Are you kidding me? What? Yeah. But you won't protect your income. And that is the one thing that keeps you going. So that's one piece of protection. Another piece of protection is the expenses of your firm. So not only can you protect your income if you can't work, but when you're not working, the expenses of the firm are still happening. Rent, salary, it's utilities. Where's that money going to come from? Is that sitting in a bank account? And how long is that money going to last in there? So there's overhead expense insurance, which you can purchase, which really is the least expensive of the insurances out there when it comes to disability insurance. And it's also tax deductible. So I don't know why we're not doing more of that, self-included, talking about it, but we should, right? And sometimes I'd rather see you have that instead of more disability coverage, but be that as it may, because we don't want to overinsure. That's the biggest complaint that we get. So it's the disability side that needs to be taken care of. But then, if you have a partnership, is there a buy-sell agreement? And yes, you may have it legally on paper that says, okay, if I pass away, Kelley becomes 100% owner and the insurance comes in and then pays my significant other. And now it's all 100% Kelley's. But if the money's not there, well, I'm not married. My wife is like, Kelley, where's my money?
And you're like,
I know.
I don't know.
I'm like, there's a law firm that I heard about down here in South Florida that they had, I think it was 4 partners. One of them passed away unexpectedly.
Oh,
They had an agreement, but they didn't have any funding for the agreement. And the wife is now, they've been battling in court for a couple of years, trying to figure out how to settle it. So it's those areas there that probably are the most important. And you can also throw in there key person insurance. And that could be you, the owner too, right? So, but if it's your partner and your partner is gone and your partner generates, just to say a number, $1 million of revenue a year, where's that going to come from? So the insurance kind of comes in to at least help support the firm for a little bit, maybe helps you hire somebody. So no one likes to talk about risk management. It's like the word insurance is a very, very bad word. It's not, right? But I haven't delivered a lot of claims, but the ones I have, no one has ever said, Frank, this is too much. It's usually, I wish it was more. And at that point, it's obviously too late. So, and everybody thinks they're going to be, Superman and they're invincible until you're not. And I say often, you're really one doctor visit away from being uninsurable. And doesn't matter what age you are, it can happen anytime. So, the insurance for me, that's like the foundation of the planning that you're going to do. Because if your financial plan isn't built on a rock solid basis of life insurance, disability insurance, and even in some cases, long-term care insurance, then your financial plan is built on sand. There's just too much linkage there that we've got to cover. So I don't have a problem talking about it. I enjoy talking about it. Doesn't mean that they like to hear about me talking about it, but we have to address it. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask some questions about it. So that's
absolutely.
a
And
big
I
thing.
know exactly what you're talking about. I started my firm in 2005, and so I can't remember how much, because I had left a corporate job. So I had COBRA coverage for my health insurance. And whenever that expired, like it was coming up to expire. And I started meeting with different people to talk about insurance plans. And right before I started having these meetings, I had a herniated disc in my back, had to have surgery. It all worked out great. But at the time, I mean, I might have been, it was definitely early 30s. It was so long ago, I forget when it was, but it was definitely early 30s. So I start meeting and you're filling out all the forms. And the first person who said, oh, well, the premium I quoted you, I didn't realize that you had back surgery. So we have to write a writer, and this is before Obamacare. I have to include a writer where we're going to exclude, we can't cover that section of your back. It was like my lower back. We're going to exclude coverage. So if you have any medical issues with your lower back, it will not be covered. Oh, and by the way, we have to increase your premium. And I'm like, no, you're going to not cover my back and charge me more. Like I can get one or the other, but not both. And he's like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, so
It's unfortunate that that's how it works, but, and not to pat myself on the back because I'm in very good health, despite not being 35 years old anymore. I'm talking, and maybe that situation comes up and they just can't understand why they have to pay more. And I said, okay, look, let's pretend I was the same age as you. I applied for a policy. I have no health issues, not on any medication, no surgeries. And you have all these bumps and bruises. Is it fair to me that you pay the same premium as I do with all these bumps and bruises? And that kind of tells the story there. I'm on your side. I want you to pay as possible for that. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, right?
And I agree. Yeah.
But the other side of that is that a good advisor will prep the client for that.
Yeah.
So if you know a little bit or enough of the medical history before we get you to underwriting, so to speak, I can say, okay, Kelley, based upon your medical history, these are some possible scenarios. So I don't want you to be shocked or surprised when the offer comes back and we need to maybe massage it a little bit for one reason or the other. This way, at least if you know about it, it's not a shocker. And I learned that early on in my career, because it also helps the underwriter if I know a little bit more about you, to give them "Hey, heads up. You know, John had this condition or had that situation happen." They have a better understanding of what went on. I mean, I often write cover letters when we've got complicated situations to give the underwriter a little bit of insight, because all they know is charts,
Yeah. Right. It's on the form.
statistics.
Yep.
Yeah, check this box. You're outside of that box. This is how it works. So
Right. I know I have a nephew who's a freshman in college this year, and he wants to be an actuary. I'm like, really? I can't talk
Ooh.
you out of that. You're going to be looking. He's like, but I love math. I'm like, yeah, but you're looking at a lot of statistics, and
Yeah.
that's just a lot. I don't know. He's
I
dead
don't know.
set.
I don't know if
He'll
I could
probably
do
be
that.
amazing at it. I don't think I could do it. So let me ask you, when you start, so a new client comes into you, and what do you look at that, like, if you had a perfect number, like one metric that you wanted to look at to see if their business is healthy, is there a metric that you like, what, like your go-to, um tell me what this number is? And sometimes I ask people questions and they're like, I don't even know what that is, and that tells me a lot.
Yeah.
So do you have a
So,
favorite metric that you like?
so it could be two numbers. What was your gross revenue last year?
Yeah.
It was $1 million. Okay. What was and that's for the firm, right? What was your modified adjusted gross income? 175.
Right.
How many employees do you have? 3.
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on here? Where's all the money?
Right.
Where's all the
And
money?
I'm the same.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And I purposely asked one, for one metric, but I'm the same. Like, it's got to be 3 or 4,
Yeah.
because
Well, because
you
one
start
leads to
looking.
another, to another.
Right.
And if you and I are doing our jobs right, we're asking deep questions. It's not,
Yeah.
because a lot of people say, well, I did $1 million in revenue. But what do you do? I'm talking about you yourself. I'm trying to help you on a personal level. We'll get to the business stuff, because I want to know your cash flow. I want to know where you're spending your money. I want to know how you're budgeting. And don't be scared because of the word budget. It's not like handcuffs. It's more like guardrails
Right.
to make
Right.
sure that we're not, overspending. But I need to know what your income is. And then it becomes, okay, are you paying yourself any W-2 income?
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're not, or they're not. Oh, yeah, I pay myself $20,000 a year. Oh, and the other 500,000 is distribution.
Distributions.
Yeah, there's going to be a free door one of these days, and it won't be from me.
Right.
That's not good.
Right.
Yeah, that's not good.
No,
So
I agree. Yeah.
those
I
are
mean,
like the initial
I
things
agree.
that we start to look at, and then from there it just kind of evolves. A lot of times it's having the right retirement plan in place and the right structure. You can tell me all day long, I got a 401k, but is it set up correctly?
Right.
Right. And, or and if you're a solo practitioner, and you and I kind of talked about this earlier, well, I have a SEP.
Yeah.
Was that really the right decision? Not that that's bad. I don't want to say it's bad. Was it really the right decision? Did you know about some of these options that you have with the 401k? Oh, I wasn't aware of that. My
Right.
person, whoever that person is, said to just do a SEP. Well,
Right.
there's some other things that we might be able to do. I always like to compare and give you options, because if it's just, here's this, then it's a yes or no, right? If it's here's this or here's this, then we can talk about the pros and the cons of each, and I think make a better decision. I think that if my client or consumer is more educated, they'll make a more confident decision, and they'll feel better about that decision, as opposed to, I don't want you to wake up in 3 years and say, well, Frank, you never told me about this other thing. I don't want that.
Right. Right. I mean, and there's always the situation where things evolve. So,
Of course.
because 401k
Absolutely.
plans didn't even exist in the, until like the 80s, right? So,
We weren't born then, so I don't know anything about it.
yeah, you and me both. But I mean, so things evolve, things change,
Yeah.
like the possibilities change over time. But but at the time it's making the best decision. And I look the
Correct.
same way. I don't ever think that there's only one way to do something. I'm trying to help my clients navigate. Here's your current options. Like currently, these are the things, and here's pros and cons of each. And let's make the best decision with the information we have now. But you
Right.
can't be indecisive, right? Got to
No.
make a decision to move forward. Because I get stuck I'm guilty. I know this one because I'm always thinking in the next minute, I will get another piece of information that will help me make a better decision. And there's times where I just have to stop. Like, just stop, make the decision, be done. It's okay if you're wrong. You can change your mind tomorrow.
Well, and this is the thing about law firm owners. When I first started working with them, what I'm going to mention, it really, really bothered me. They would read, can I get a sample contract of an insurance policy? Oh, yeah. Sample, explanation of what this is. Send me everything. And it used to really tick me off. I'm like, why who reads all this?
Nobody.
You're an attorney. What were you taught to do? Research
I know.
and read contracts. So once I got past that, I was a lot more comfortable with the situation. It's not as bad now, I think, as it used to be. And maybe that's just because I got a lot better at explaining all the details than before. I don't know, but it doesn't happen as much, but I can appreciate why they do it. Look, I want everybody to know exactly what they're getting because I don't want any surprises down the road. But if anything, I'm divulging as much information as I can. Again, I don't want you to wake up and say, you never told me about this.
Right. And it's hard. It's a fine line because it's always, you don't want to overload. Like, I don't want to, dump so much information, but yet, it's definitely a fine line. I encounter the same struggle sometimes.
No.
So, well, I have kept you for a really long time, and I am so grateful for the time that we've had today. And it just amazes me the things that we could just talk about forever, right?
You could stay on for a couple more hours, probably. But I don't think either of us can right now.
No, my kids are going to be coming home. Yeah, we can do another part. My kids will be coming home from school, which isn't a big deal. They leave me alone because I work from home, but the dog will start barking. So this was a perfect window to record. I have loved this conversation, and we'll put into the show notes, ways to contact you. So because I would really love for people to be able to get in touch with you because I love what you're doing. And so I just want to be able to put people in touch with you. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate the conversation, Frank. Yeah. You're welcome.
This was great.
Thank you.
A lot of fun. Thanks.
Hey, before you go, grab my new book, Plugging the Leaks, 10 Ways Lawyers Waste Money and Simple Fixes. It's a quick read, plain English, packed with checklists, templates, the 7 to 60-day collections escalator, and the Core 4 dashboard. So you can keep more of every dollar you earn. Now, you can order the paperback or Kindle on Amazon, or you can download it for free, the PDF format, using the link in the show notes below. Remember that profit is something you intentionally plan for in the beginning. It's not a potential bonus at the end of the year. Thanks for listening.